Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Marina Harris, CLEO's Chief People Officer, and I could not be more excited to introduce Aaron Muscal. Aaron's going to be talking about a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and that is how do you thrive and truly maximize your impact in a hybrid working environment. Aaron is the office manager at Edwards Creative Law, where they streamline operations and enhance client experiences for Canada's creative professionals. With her expertise in legal, technology, and process optimization, Aaron uses tools like CLEO to improve team communications and workflow efficiency. Through a combination of creativity and structure, Aaron makes sure that hybrid work experiences are seamless. She is committed to innovation and AI and really leveraging emerging technologies to close the access to justice gap, all while making sure that she's growing sustainable growth for her firm. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Aaron.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you today at CLEOCon in Boston. The hybrid work model is something that I love. I know it very well. We've been doing it for the last 5 years, so I'm excited to share what I've learned. And we don't have a lot of time, and I want to make time for questions at the end, so let's get into it. So we're starting with some questions here. Is work from home dead? Can it survive the return to office mandates? Is it time to hang up the sweatpants? Will AI take over? So here are some of the topics we're going to cover. So that we can help you figure out if a hybrid system can work for your firm in 2025 and beyond. So we're just going to dive into defining hybrid. We'll talk about flexibility, productivity, what is ROW, accountability, recruitment and onboarding, change management, technology, and AI. So hybrid work can offer law firms the best of both worlds, and it's an opportunity to balance flexibility, productivity, and accountability for your team. So Marina told you a little bit about me. I'm the office manager for Edwards Creative Law. I've been there for over 6 years, and we've been hybrid for, since 2020. Our practice area is entertainment law, so we're helping creatives with their legal needs across the industries of film and TV, music, publishing, video games, and we do a little bit of litigation and corporate work. So our practice is very virtual. We don't meet with clients in person, which means that we really can work from anywhere. So the hybrid model has worked really well for our firm. We have lawyers across 4 cities, and most of our support staff is in Ottawa. So I'll talk about what's worked for us in this presentation, and hopefully you'll be able to take home something for your firm and make it work for you as well. So we'll start with just the basics. A lot of us already know this, but what is hybrid work? So it's a flexible model that blends in-office and remote work, and it allows employees and employers to split their time between physical workplaces and virtual environments. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution. It's not perfect, and its strength lies in its adaptability. So our team, for example, has 2 days where we're in the office. We have some overlap, so I'll be in the office with 2 other admin, and then 3 days working from home. And my managing partner lives in the neighborhood. He loves being in the office. He's in there every day. He walks his dog in. It's his happy place. He loves to talk, and he likes to come in. Our other partner does not come in at all. We have maybe 1 day a month where we all come in. We do a couple of hours of in-person meetings. We catch up and we go for lunch, and that's the only day I see him in person. But he's a grinder, and he really prefers to be at home. So like I said, hybrid promotes flexibility. It fits work into life, not the other way around. It promotes autonomy. It allows particularly self-starters and leaders to shine. Productivity is another factor. So being able to get your independent tasks done in a quieter, distraction-less environment. And it can help with your well-being, reducing stress, improving work-life balance. I mean, most of us have kids or pets or both, aging parents, fitting in exercise, fitting in appointments if there's health issues. So it's nice to have that flexibility. So I like to use quotes where I feel like it's applicable. So I found this one: workplace flexibility is a bridge that takes us to fundamentally better ways of working. Work is something we do, not somewhere we go. So I think that fits really well with the hybrid philosophy of flexibility, just being able to fit work into your life. And it won't work for every field. It won't work for every firm. But for us, it works really well. So some of the benefits for employees are sanity, balance, and engagement. When, 5 years ago, when, the pandemic started, I know there were a lot of early adopters of hybrid work, but that was really when the majority of us were kind of forced to pivot to a different way of working. And at the time, I had a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old. They were doing online learning. So being able to work from home immediately, it kept the business running, but it also helped me to be there, spend more time with my kids, help them with their online kindergarten, which was traumatizing for everyone. But, it was an easier transition for us. I think because we already had a lot of the mobility in place, that really helped us to pivot quickly. You might think the benefits of remote work or a mixed situation like hybrid is only good for employees, but it can benefit employers too. Really opens up the talent pool, because you can look for talent in other places other than where your main office is if you only have one. It can help with employee retention. There's a term I heard recently called job hugging versus job hopping. So I guess it's just people really leaning into a company that does a lot of good things for their employees. And it could lower overhead. So, we outgrew our office after COVID, and we haven't increased the size of our office because of hybrid. We haven't had to spend that money. So we decide to keep the office. When our lease comes up, we might decide to go with a co-share space, but for now, it's working. And innovation, it does help employees to make changes, find new ways of working to deliver the same value or better. This is a diagram I came up with in my research on productivity. So it's called a Venn diagram, and I think it can have different representations, but this one is about productivity. So the main concern, I think, from managers and employees when it comes to productivity and working from home is the lack of visibility. We don't know what they're doing necessarily. Are they slacking? Are they not getting a lot done? This concern may well be inaccurate, but it's valid for somebody who's paying for time, essentially. But it's not a reason to abandon a more flexible work model altogether. So you see that in the middle of the quantity, which is scaling without cutting corners, and the quality, which is sustainable and error-free results, and efficiency, doing it smarter, not harder, is productivity. So it's not one thing, but it's a balance between those three. So in terms of some of the ways we can measure productivity and how we do in our office is we have people sending sharing or sending their task lists. We have regular team check-ins, making sure that people are attending meetings either in the office or virtually, and ensuring that they come in on the days they say they're going to come in, and to make it clear to them that this is a perk of the job and not necessarily a necessity. Our partners always maintain in the employment agreement that hybrid is not a requirement of the job. So we don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to bring this concept up because it was something I came across in my research. I thought it was interesting. I was speaking to a friend who works for the federal government in Canada, and this was something they tried on. It was originally created at Best Buy headquarters, and it was an HR experiment that they undertook in 2002, and they implemented it, I think, fully by 2007. It's a management strategy where employees are evaluated based on results, not hours worked or physical presence. I'm not sure how that works with their stores because you kind of have to be there to sell things. But so the results are the focus, not necessarily like where you're doing the work or how long it took you to do the work. So, I mean, there are positives, there are challenges. So it can fuel self-starters, so people are really motivated to get things done. It's got flexibility, so it can be customized to the person. A lot of workers love it. Over 85% want flex. The trust is a major factor, and actually in the case of Best Buy and a lot of other places, it was a model that was abandoned, mostly because of a lack of, from what I read, it was really a lack of control, and when they got into situations of crises, it wasn't really working. But I think that considering results in the end is something that management and employers need to take into consideration, especially with AI coming into play as well. So the takeaways: we don't need to copy it, just the parts that work. Trust your people, set clear goals, and let them run. And flexibility isn't chaos, it's freedom to deliver. Now we're going to talk about accountability. And so what I've got here is to build a culture of accountability. And this is really on the kind of management and the employer to ensure that they are demonstrating the type of employee that they want. So being honest, owning up to their mistakes, and just kind of exemplifying the type of employee that they hope to have working at home. This is driving motivation because results are seen and celebrated wherever you're working. I also think that positive reinforcement, so telling your employees when they're doing the right thing, has been really instrumental in ensuring that we're getting the results that we want. Like our team knows what's expected of them. They're sharing their workflows, and so we're always in the loop. I'm having regular meetings with them, and I always know that they're delivering on my expectations. This is an area that I will argue is better in person, and that's hiring, so recruitment and onboarding. During 2020 and 2021, we had a new role come available. It was kind of our first time really growing since I joined the firm. And I joined the firm in early 2019. So I did all of the recruitment, interviewing, onboarding, training completely remotely. It worked. But as time has gone on, we've really realized that being in the office helps to have more integrated employees. It gives us the opportunity to have them shadow more than one person, to have, just the regular kind of water cooler chit chat, to make a coffee in the kitchen, to get to know the neighborhood, to go for lunch, to make sure that if they have questions, that somebody's always there to answer the questions. So what I've started to do the last few years of hiring, I still do a lot of the recruitment online. I use Indeed, and I find that doing virtual calls, like the initial calls, is working well. But when it comes to doing the final interview, if they're available, I like to have them in person. I think there's still a case for being in person with people. I don't think that that's something we can ever really abandon. And the training. So I'll go in the office for all 5 days for the first week or two to make sure that person feels really comfortable, that they, if they have questions, that I'm there. I think that's led to better retention of people. We're finding really good people, and especially with lawyers, even though, lawyers know how to be a lawyer, we've onboarded some virtually, and there was a lot, even though they know the law, they don't necessarily know our software or our policies or our procedures. So having them come to us if they're from out of the city, or having them be in the office is going to be instrumental. So we haven't done any since our last lawyer hire, but that's definitely something that I'm going to be doing from now on. And my partners agree. Okay, so change management. This is a topic I've come across a lot the last couple of years. There's a lot of changes that we're experiencing in law firms. Obviously, technology is one really big one. There could be changes in leadership. We don't always like change. In our firm, every time we want to introduce a new software, there's one lawyer that and he's younger than I am, and he hates it. He is not an early adopter of anything. He does not want to get on board. He's always the one in meetings, kind of, asking questions and playing devil's advocate on why it might not work. So we know that when we bring new things in, we have to think it through. We have to make sure that we've planned it out, that it's the right move, and the partners really have to back it up, because if they don't back it up, it's not going to get used. And that's been our experience with some tools that we brought in. So with the AI conversation and bringing in an AI tool, that we're really taking our time. We're not rushing that one. We know that it's necessary. We know we're going to need to bring it in order to deliver value to our clients. And I know they're going to start to expect different things as law evolves, but making sure that our staff, lawyers and admin, have notice, they understand the plan, they've got all adequate training, retraining, whatever they need, that's how we can make those changes a little smoother and a little easier to digest. Okay, the last couple of slides are going to be on tech and AI. So I think at the heart of making hybrid work is going to be your tools, because what helped us to switch to remote in 2020 overnight was because we already had laptops. Everybody worked on a laptop. Everybody had cloud-based software. I think there was only one corporate software that we had on a desktop computer. and we used remote access for that one. So I think making sure that all your staff have the right tools, but that they are secure. So all our drives are encrypted. If we have, client sensitive data on our phones, that we have to make sure that those are also encrypted. My boss likes a lot of double authentication and just making sure that all of that is in place. So making sure that we have that our at-home setup is as good or better than our in-office setup. So making sure we have really fast internet, that we have a good camera on our laptop, good mic, that we have lighting. We're investigating maybe trying to make the at-home setup look aesthetically pleasing, because that matters to my boss. We've got one lawyer that just sits in front of a white wall, and that drives him a bit nuts, and trying to make sure that people dress up for video calls. But aside from that, just trying to make sure that both meet the standards that our clients would expect. Last one before we get into questions. So AI obviously is a big topic, and now more than ever, technology is becoming at the forefront of how firms are delivering quality legal services, advice, and products to clients. So, but it's a tool. It's not magic. It can speed up our workflows. I'm finding new ways to use it all the time. I've tried a lot of tools. I've tried Claude, Perplexity, ChatGPT, and now I'm on Copilot. So it does take time. It does take a lot of playing around, but just finding ways to use it, make yourself more productive. Can speed up research, can write the first draft. The human element is the most important part. And it really assists a lot with structuring projects. That's the best use case I've found. It's not 100% related to hybrid, but I think with the productivity aspect, it's really going to help us to ensure that we're getting that valuable output. Okay. So now I have a question for you. How many days a week do you prefer to work in person? So you can have 0. You just need to scan the QR code, and then you can cast your vote. Or you can, if that doesn't work, you can go to menti.com and enter the code that's on the screen there. So 0 days, 1 to 2 days, 3 to 4 days, 5 days. And I've already voted, so I'm going to monitor the results. Oh, already got some. Sorry, I couldn't put it up on the screen because I didn't want to do my whole presentation in there. It's still new to me. Okay, so far we've got 17% at 0, 36%, 37% at 1 to 2 days, 29% at 3 to 4 days, and 17% at 5 days. So that's interesting. We've got a 50-50 split between nothing and everything. And then a bunch in between. I put 1 to 2 days. I do 2, and I like 2. And I have done 3, but 5 almost killed me. And I've worked many, many years at 5 days. Okay, so the results are holding there. So we're going to go to questions from the audience.
Can I come and join you, Erin? My mic's on. Can you all hear me? I'm going to come and join you for questions. And I want to ask you, you said 1 to 2 days. What is it about that really makes it the right balance for you?
I think just, like I said, I worked so many years of my career 5 days a week, and that was the status quo. And I was going downtown on the bus and pregnant and all these things. And I feel like I don't miss that. But I do see a value of going into the office. So I think having a balance. I have 2 kids, I have a dog, I have things that, I don't want to spend my life in traffic. So I think that's kind of the main thing. It's a good balance for me. But there may be a day where I don't have a lot going on and I want to be in there 5 days a week socializing.
Absolutely. I was eagerly watching as the results were coming in. Clio does 2 days a week, and we started with 1 and found that it actually really increased our employee engagement. And then we went to 2, and people weren't sure at first. They were worried that we were going to keep creeping up, but it feels like we found our rhythm, and that really works for creating that sense of connection while still making sure folks have the ability to balance their heavy workloads with their life needs too. And so it really is a lovely, lovely blend. Why don't we go to questions in the audience if there are a few? We've got a few runners around. Do we have a microphone? I think we have a gentleman here at the front, and then I saw a hand on the side there too, but we'll start at the front.
Are there any roles that lend themselves more or less to working at home?
At this point, I would say no. Maybe the lawyer, just because many of our lawyers are not going to court. They're not meeting clients in person. So most of their time is spent on conference calls and independent drafting. So I would say in the admin, there's definitely a benefit to being in the office a little more for collaboration on projects. So that's something we're still trying to tweak a little bit.
So lawyers, to clarify, lawyers more outside the office and admin more inside the office?
Yeah, I'd say that's so far what's been working best.
Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. There's some...
Gentleman in the back.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Come back to the front. No.
We must use the mic.
Okay, thanks. I may have misunderstood. You said you have some of your team that's fully remote, right?
There's 2 lawyers at this point. We don't have any admin staff that are fully remote.
Okay. I guess the question is like, how would you recommend navigating team building and stuff when like some people are fully remote and like you don't want everyone sitting on Zoom, but you don't want them to feel excluded if you go out to eat or something?
I agree. Yeah. And luckily our lawyers are not far proximity wise from our main office. So we're in Ottawa, and then we have a lawyer who's 2 hours away in Kingston and then 5 hours away in Toronto. So we have at least 1 holiday party a year. We're trying to organize more, but people's schedules make it a little difficult. But we have switched over. I think we began doing this in June, having 1 day a month where everybody comes in, and we do invite the lawyers that are from out of town to come with us. But I think also we have a screen in the office, so if they're not able to make it, we can get a Teams call going and have them part of the meeting. So, but you're right. I think there is a little bit of a social disconnect for the people, especially because there's not more of them that are also in the same city. So that is something that I'm definitely keeping in mind and trying to figure out solutions.
One thing I'd share really quickly on that is, so at Clio, we call ourselves distributed by design in terms of our hybrid model. And the by design part really matters. So we go out of our way to hire folks to certain locations. So we do have clusters of employees who can get together socially, even if we don't have an office there. So they have some form of connection. And then we ask folks to come in when it matters, really intentionally, right? When there's a project kickoff or we're kicking off the year and want to get everybody aligned. And so we're really clear about what are the reasons to come together so that we can really make sure that we're again, intentional about that. And then for the folks who are fully remote, we bring the full team together once per year. But otherwise, we just try to really set up our meeting times in ways that accommodate remote. We use chat in Zoom a lot. So even if you're remote and it's hard to jump in, we really keep an eye on the chat so that for folks who are remote, we can pull in questions they're asking. Because I don't know about you, but I've been remote on a Zoom when others are in the room, and it can be really hard to inject. Yeah. So really being mindful of almost like team meeting hygiene, and that you're really making sure everyone still feels a part of the whole and they're not getting a lesser experience.
That's a great point.
Just add that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was someone in the front or second row who had no. Okay. So I've got you running everywhere, but sort of 4 rows back there on this side.
Do you have any team members that are sharing workstations? So when someone's off and then someone's in, but they're using the same station?
Yeah, we do. So as I mentioned, we kind of outgrew our office because one of the lawyers that is in our city works primarily from home. We were able to redistribute his workstation, but there's really only we set it up in such a way that over the 5 days, there's overlap with two, and two. Sometimes I'll come in 3 days, but there is some sharing of workstations, but it hasn't been an issue for us.
Got a question here in the second row, I believe. Oh, are you able to?
Oh, we're done.
Oh, we're out of time. We are out of time. I'm getting the.
You can ask after.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Well, thanks everyone.